I went ahead and removed the little bit of fencing I had around the protein reactor, so I figured it wasn't needed at all. I built a sound muffler because even though you can't hear the chickens, they are extremely loud anytime I'm over here. That's just like a jukebox and a piece of wool, so I just think it's worth it. But I thought that I was getting tired of running all the way back to those chasms that I started out in, way over there, 200 and some odd meters, and mining, because that's what I've been doing. In order to get resources, going all the way back there, because there's like 3 different chasms that connect each other in multiple different ways. Just been going to there, mining little caves in there, but it's too far, and I'm too lazy. So I was thinking of building the lens of the miner from Actually Editions. And I was going to use this with the atomic reconstructor in order to turn stone into ores. Since I figured I've got some energy now, why not use it? So a quick little demonstration here. I just moved the one from over there over to here. Going to put the lens on. Got a nice little lens there. And we're going to put a piece of stone in front of it. Normal stone, not cobble. And we're going to flip the button. And you can see that it turned it into aluminum ore. And you can also see that it used a decent amount of power. It was full. And you can just do that. So the time it used even more. The amount of power it uses is based off of what ore it generates. Actually, that's not going to work, is it? Let's get this guy out of the backpack there. Make things a bit quicker. So aluminum does seem pretty common in our very small little test here. Ah, there we go, something different. But I'm going to take this and probably automate it. So instead of taking it outside, I thought it'd be a bit easier just to move it from that wall to this wall, because I've already got a semi-automated smelting thing here going on. Grind it, cook it, store it, kind of. So it'd be easier just to do it in here than it would be to move everything out there. So as I showed you, we're going to need to place stone down, and I don't want to do that by hand, so I'm going to use the block placer that the same kind of block placer that I've used outside from the cyclic. Oh, I forgot. What did I forget? Normal stone. Oh, I lasered it all. And okie dokie, we got that. So I went ahead and jammed that into the floor one spot down. So I put some stone in here, should place it right on top. There it goes. So I'm going to have the laser be triggering as that triggers to turn into stone, and then I'm going to have a different block, a block breaker behind it to break the ores that it creates. The block miner is from Cyclic, and that does what the name would suggest. Just go ahead and break whatever block's in front of it. I'm going to see if that's, yes, there we go. You can see that works just fine. So now all we're going to need is something to automatically fire the laser, and then something to pick up the drops and put them in this chest. For the power, I went ahead and did the same thing we did outside with XNet. I created a little controller in here, and believe it or not, that's actually connected to it. I don't know why it doesn't show it. But it's still got the power being extracted from the power cell and inserted into the atomic reconstructor. I just got the stuff thrown down here and right up into it. So that takes care of the power. Now I need a way to trigger it all the time, and something to catch the blocks. So the way I'm going to get it to automatically fire is using the timer from Dark Utilities. This actually isn't the timer that I normally use, but it seems like it'll do what I want it to do. Pretty sure it doesn't have a default. No. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, well that should be, what, 5 seconds? That was not 5 seconds. Maybe it was already counted. There, okay, yeah. So you can see it automatically fires every 5-ish seconds. So that would take care of that. And I have a second timer to activate the miner. So now you might be thinking, what about the stone? You don't have too much stone in here, and you don't want to constantly be cooking it, do you? You're right, I don't. And in order to make it so I don't have to constantly place it, I can use this thing from Industrial Foregoing, the Material Stonework Factory. As the manual here says, when provided with power, it will start generating cobblestone. And the cool part about this thing is that once it creates the cobblestone, you can have it cook it, if you want to. Then you can have it 2x2 craft whatever it cooked, or you can have it grind whatever is in the next one, or you can have it 3x3 craft whatever's there. I'm pretty much only going to be using this for the furnace mode in order to create stone, and I'm going to hook it all up with XNet underneath it, I guess. Now that I think about it, I would actually be better if I just floated it right there. As terrible as that looks. But that way I can already send it power through this. Let's get some power, it's generating cobblestone, and now it is turning that cobblestone into stone, and I'll just keep building that up. Because that's already running XNet close to it, I could just put a connector under it, which I believe I have one right here. Yes, I do. So I can just create that second item channel. Insert on him. And extract. Probably should have set up a filter for only stone. Actually, I guess it sorted itself out. Because now the only stone is being created. So if I reactivate this, the timer doesn't quite work the way I thought it would. So the timing on this might require a bit more work than I thought it did. I think I'm going to have the timer on the lens of the miner going off, and it's hitting an OR switch that will switch the block miner either on or off. Because otherwise the block miner's mining it all the time and this doesn't even get a chance to shoot it. So I might have to experiment and see if that works or not. Well, instead of doing all that, I got lazy and I upgraded to a controlled miner. And it is a bit more to make, but it's not really that bad. I mean, it's just some lapis. And I mean, that's everywhere in the nether. Obsidian's not hard to get, but I already had diamonds, so it makes things a lot easier, because not only it does run on coal though, which is terrible, but I can use the XNet to give it coal. So you can see I can change the size, it can get giant. I just have a little 1x1. I have it blacklisted to stone, so that makes things a lot easier. You can see it's not mining it. I'm going to pop this back on top and see if it kept the every 5 seconds for now works. Why didn't it not mine? Oh, I didn't give it a tool. Alright, I gotta give it a tool. Alright, so you can see that it is mining it using the diamond pickaxe. That's gonna be kind of annoying. I'm gonna have to fill that with diamond pickaxes as well as coal. A little too fast, but that's okay. I'll figure out the timing later. But as you can see, I'm going to need an item collector, which I'm probably just going to use the same thing I used out there, also from Cyclic, to just put them inside this chest. Alright. Well, that was extremely easy. I just put the item collector down. It's doing a huge 9x9 area. And it's just eating it up. Well, as you can see here, it's just kind of randomly firing off every second and a half. It doesn't really cost much to fire when there's nothing there. So I don't think, it doesn't look like it costs anything. But it's getting picked up in here. And so I can just use I guess I can use XNet since it's already in here, and send items that way and get them start processing. So I'm pretty sure I can put this down in there. And now the chest, everything's hooked up. Okay, I went ahead and slowed down the laser, because every once in a while, if it just rapid fires, it would hit some ores that cost a lot to generate energy, or a lot of energy generation. And so it was putting a huge drain on the power. So this is weirdly hooked up. For some reason I had to do it that way. I don't know why I was connecting before, but I've got it hooked up. And so it is sending stuff to the chest, some of which is getting stuck, and the rest of it is getting put in here, grinded up. I guess the coal is... There we go. And it's getting cooked and placed in the chest. Looks like there is a few things I got to fix, but for the most part, it's not too bad. Okay, well, I slowed down the laser quite a bit. It is now going every 10 seconds. The placer below it is no longer getting any cobblestone. This is still making it, but it's only making it to be able to turn into stone. It's now not able to go in there because of the XNet. I removed the Extra Utilities 2 transfer node. I'm now using the XNet underneath there to bring it out of the chest and into the crusher. Because XNet's smart enough that if it can't go in there, it won't put it in there. And the Extra Utilities 2 thing is not. It will just suck something up and then it'll get jammed and then it won't go in there. Like you've seen what's happening. So that's crushing it. And so far nothing that has gotten crushed can't be cooked. I might have to do that if something gets stuck. Then I'll have to just replace all of it with the XNet cable. But that's okay. Just give me more control. You can see my energy has gone up slightly. Kind of. It's not completely empty now. And that's because I added 2 extra protein generators. Because I noticed that I was generating quite a bit of extra protein. It just kind of filled up both of them. And now this one is pretty much empty and just distributing it through the XNet system into these. And you can see that one of them is still very full because I added the other 2 afterwards, so that one's still got a lot in it. And it's trying to distribute it evenly, and sometimes it's messing. You can see it's still generating 321 for some reason. I think it's only supposed to be 320. Yeah, 320. I don't know where that extra one's coming from. No, that one's only got 1, so I don't know. It's trying to distribute. I'm stuck in a tree. It's trying to distribute it, but there's too much in one, and it's kind of weird. But it'll work itself out, hopefully. Well, I noticed 2 things. One, I don't have to worry about this because I remembered that I already set it up not to worry about that. If it can't get crushed, then it'll just send it to the second spot, which is over here with this crushed uranium. But you may have noticed everything stopped here. It's still lasering, but because it's not doing anything, it's not really costing any energy, which my energy is going back up, which is nice. It's kind of a built-in thing that if I forget about it, I won't completely kill everything. I'm going to leave it so that I have to manually put coal in here for that reason, so I don't accidentally drain everything and stop everything and break everything. Also, when I left and came back, there's a bit of experience on the ground. Because when it breaks the block, I guess it's like a player breaking the block, and it drops some experience. It's not that big of a deal, but it could be an issue if, as you can tell from the mini-map up there, it is a chunk-loaded area from the FTB utility stuff. And so it could... What the heck are those? Could be an issue if a bunch of experience drops. But because I have to manually put coal in here, it shouldn't be that much experience. But everything seems to be working. We've got some random ores being generated. So having basically infinite random ores is kind of nice, but what if I want something specific? I'm going to finally get into the mystical agriculture. I mentioned this in I think the first episode, maybe the second one. But I wanted to get started in it because it allows you to grow your own resources. Just kind of like whatever you want. It's pretty handy. Here's a bit of an example. If you wanted to see any of the crops, right there's a whole bunch of them, all kinds of stuff. This is how you start it, with Inferium essence, surrounded around a seed, to get Inferium seeds. Tier 1, that is the start. You get Inferium from either the world or killing monsters. Since I already have this little farming area here, just with some random crops that I've used throughout the time I've been here, I might as well try and plop down some Inferium seeds right here. Since I don't have any growth accelerators or anything to speed it up, it's going to take a little while. Using the cyclic mod again, I decided to go ahead and plop down some sprinklers. Since they aren't really too bad, some bone blocks, iron bars, and water. I've got another one here. It requires being in the ground, or it requires being on top of water, which would be in the ground, but then if you try and place it there, then you'll delete the water. So you have to place it on something like that. And it just kind of does that, as you can see. And they're growing much quicker. That one doesn't look like it's getting water, but it's still growing. So I don't know what's up with that. Oh, there it goes, okay. And they do stack, so I would imagine I'm going to want to clear an area for this. I don't know what the distance of these are. I might have to look that up and then make a little farming area that has got a bunch of them stacked up on top of each other. Ah, we have a first fully grown. That is not special soil. Alright, so you just right click it, and you can see we got one Inferium essence. Now you can see why I planted a few more, was because it would take a while, it's just one. Even with the sprinklers, it still takes a little while, but it's much faster than without the sprinklers. And there's something a little weird happening. I don't see a difference between these 2 plants. I might just be blind now they both say fully grown. But that one said 80 some odd %, and if I were to right click it, then I wouldn't have gotten one, even though it looks fully grown. I don't know if that's the sprinklers or it just does that. No, that was fully grown too. Maybe I was just crazy. There we go. See, it says it's 57%, even though it looks like it's fully grown. If I harvest it, same with that one, 85. Nothing. So I don't know if that's the mod, the sprinklers, or what, but that's a little thing to look for, I guess. Make sure it says fully grown. So now you might be wondering what we are going to do with all this Inferium. We are going to eventually upgrade it to get the set here, the Supremium set. And you can see the set bonus there is flight. That is what we're after end-wise. But along the way, we also get whatever resources we want to grow. So it's a very nice mod to get into. In order to upgrade it, we're going to need this. You need these prosperity shards, which in this mod, you seem to only be able to get in the end of the nether. This mod pack, I guess. And you can see it has a limited amount of uses. You can use this infusion crystal to upgrade from Inferium essence to Perdinium essence. Perdinium, I don't know how to say it, but that essence. And you can see it had one use. And it kind of just builds on itself like this. And you can speed it up by upgrading the Inferium seeds from tier 1, using the Perdinium essence, up to tier 2 seeds. The difference being that tier 2 seeds will drop 2 crops, or Inferium essence, every time it's harvested instead of just 1. So that should speed things up. So without looking at it right next to it, you can't really tell, but I am putting down fertile soil from rustic, and it is very easy. You just combine a normal piece of dirt with some bone meal, and you can place it down, and it looks... this one doesn't actually require water, but the sprinkler will still help it grow. It also can't be trampled, which is very handy because I'm just jumping and running around in here. So that's pretty handy. Now you can go around in here without worrying about it. Doesn't need water, and sugarcane will also grow on it without water adjacent. Pretty handy little thing that you should probably use if you plan on growing pretty much anything. From tier 2 to tier 3 is the same. You just use tier 2 seeds and a bunch of intermedium essence, 8 of them, and that'll give you the Inferium seeds tier 3. And this is the same difference. Now it will drop 3 Inferium essence instead of just 2 or 1. It's been a lot of farming. Well, it took a little while, but I have a field full, well, a tiny field full, a little garden full of tier 3 seeds, and that is speeding things up quite a bit. Why haven't you grown yet? So I could actually speed this up even more. Is that seriously another chicken? Actually, I could speed things up using the chickens. Is what I was about to say. The Industrial Foregoing mod has a fertilizer system that I can collect the sewage from the chickens and then pump that into a fertilizer and make the crops grow pretty much instantly if combined with the sprinklers that I already have. If at some point you figure, okay, I've got enough Inferium, I want to make something else now, you're going to need more prosperity shards and some more normal seeds to create base crafting seeds. And those just kind of tier up like everything else does. Combine them with Inferium to get the tier 1 crafting seeds, and then you can do the same thing with the Perdinium seeds to create tier 2. And it's the same from 2 to 3. If I take the tier 2 crafting seeds and put some more intermedium essence in there, then I get to tier 3 crafting. And the reason why I stopped at tier 3, at least for now, is because if I take some more intermedium essence and some coal, then I can create a coal seed. This will allow me to grow some coal, which I'm sure you can imagine is pretty handy. So that's what the fully grown coal seed looks like. You can tell it's quite a bit different than the Inferium seeds. And when we harvest that, we get this coal essence and a chance of fertilized essence, which bone meal that works on resource crops. Pretty handy stuff. Now after you collect 8 coal essence, you can take it to a crafting thing, or if you're smart, have it auto-crafted, and you can turn it into coal. 12 pieces of coal. Not bad at all. Well, it has taken literally days and many infusion crystals, but these little guys are tier 5. Not quite all of them yet, but some of them, so that's a start. And you can see that it gave me 5 of them, which means that it will be much quicker in order to go up to the Supremium. Getting the ingots in order to make the Supremium armor is the same as crafting the seeds, the crafting seeds, the tier seeds. You start with the base essence ingot, which is just iron with 4 of the prosperity shards, and then just like the other ones, you tier it on up. And it only takes 4 on each of them until, in this mod pack, you get to the Supremium. I'm pretty sure this one has a change to 8. I think default is 4, but this one is 8. So that's 1. So I have quite a bit to go. It's still going to take quite a while to get there, and then once I actually get enough ingots for it, I'm going to have to also build the little cores, which is kind of a pain in the butt. As I'm sure you can imagine, I'm getting pretty tired of running through here and harvesting all this. Not that it's a very hard thing to do, just hold right click the whole time. But I'm going to need someplace else to put them. So I figured, why not use this area that was pretty much cleared on accident, because I don't know what happened with the harvester over there. I guess it was that, just ate all the trees or something. So I'm not sure what happened there. But I figured I'd use this area. I already plopped down a plant sower and a plant gatherer. They don't have any power, but they are hooked up to XNet. I haven't actually done anything in there, but the cables are plugged into them. But I figured I should remove all the grass here and put down some fertile soil. Of course, I didn't have enough. Alright, now we have enough to fill it in once it's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and give it power like anything else. Just insert into it. Yep, I got power there ticking away. At nothing. So you might have noticed that I put the soil in a wide area. And the reason for that is because I'm going to actually use some range add-on upgrades. Range add-on tier 3. I'm going to make 2 of those, one for both the sower and one for the planter. To use the add-ons, if you just shift click it, it'll go into the right spot, but they go over here. And now if I click that little snowball, then it should match up. If I guessed correctly, yes it did. Same with the gatherer. Yep. Alright, to make things a little easier, if you deactivate it so it only starts on a redstone signal, then you can put all your seeds in, lock it, and then turn it back on. And because it's all locked in, I should be fine. I don't think I need to interact with this machine anymore. So I might be okay to go ahead and cover it up. If not, then I can just remove that. Well, I don't think it is the most efficient way of doing this, but this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go in for 4 spots on each side, which actually should be right around the machine, shouldn't it? Like this. Right there. And I'm going to put some water down. Sprinklers down. Not on top of the plants. Come on. Alright, so from what I could tell about these sprinklers, they work in about 4 blocks away. So I thought this way they would at least get the sides. Probably, actually, now that I think about it, would have been better going 2 or 3 in instead of 4 all the way, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. Everybody gets at least one little splash of water. You can see he's collecting the Inferium essence as well as the seeds. So I'm going to have to go into the XNet over there. Not the tree, the XNet. And tell it to put the seeds inside of that one. And the Inferium essence, I'm going to have another crafter over here. Someplace, maybe not over there. Maybe I'll put it in the chickens just to annoy the chickens. I don't know, I'll put it someplace. That will craft it to auto-upgrade it. I'm going to create an item channel to insert into the plant sower the Inferium seeds. And for the plant gatherer, I'm going to need to extract the Inferium seeds. Plop those guys around there, and then it'll take over from there. So we got the seeds being planted. I'm going to need to create more seeds, but that shouldn't be a big deal. I'm getting a lot of Inferium essence from all this. So now I just need to get it to take the essence and auto-craft it to upgrade. Before I do any auto-crafting, I should probably use some of this Supremium in order to make a Master Infusion Crystal. Because that has unlimited uses, so that way it won't break every time it's going through the auto-crafter. Because I don't want to have to replace it, because I'm lazy. I'm going to use the crafter from RF Tools again. No, I just want one. There we go. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 crafter. All the same recipe. Kind of nice. Very easy way to tier itself up. Kind of like Mystical Agriculture. In order to save time and money, I jam the crafter into the ground, because that way it's already hooked up to the XNet system. Why is the tree getting bigger? I just have to go over here and give it some power. Right, now that it's gotten power, I need to insert items into it. Now before too much junk goes in there, I'm going to have to tell it that I only want Inferium essence. Which means I also have to tell the plant gatherer, not that one because it doesn't have the filter, this one that I want it to extract. You can see I wasn't quick enough. It's got some seeds and dry rubber and whatnot in here. But it should be fine now. Keep that in there. Now all we have to do is teach it the recipes. Guess we will start with number 1. I'm going to have that stay inside because I don't want it to leave. Same with the... No, I don't want you to leave. I think I didn't hit apply. Alright, there we go. So I have to edit this one, so to stay inside because we don't want that one to leave either. And tier it up to the next one. To tier up to the next one. I might have to wait a little bit for the next one. Now I noticed this wasn't extracting the Inferium essence out of the gatherer very quickly, so I'm going to set it to do an entire stack at a time instead of just single items. Hopefully by the time I get over here, there isn't anything left. Yeah, okay, it's working. Seriously? You little turd. Did you get born and just leave? That's not how this works, chicken. Where did you go? Get back in there. Anytime now, there we go. Should be able to do the next tier up. Keep it inside. Alright. Guess I only needed 4. I didn't need to build a crafting tier 3 then, did I? I could have stopped at 2, because 2 has 4 recipes. That would have been perfect. But I guess now I can use it for something else if I want to. Also, the giant tree was because the, what you call plant gatherer here, was completely full. I think we've got too much wood. Well, it took a little longer than the small garden next to my house, but it was a lot less work to make the full garden. Well, maybe not. There's 2 missing spots. Son of a... Oh, there's 2 over there. Maybe it just hasn't filled them in yet. I thought it was full. It might be full. It's close to full. You knew I was going to do it. I'm going to make the animal sewage from industrial foregoing. Well, I'm sure you can imagine how fun that was to put in. It turns out it has to be level with the grass. And have the working area on. It's only 1. I could upgrade it, but that's probably fine. There's a lot of chickens in there. They're pooping all over the place. It's just nasty in here. but that's in. There's some chickens on the ground now. Some of them are suffocating. Again. Now, in order to do anything with that sewage, we are going to need a sewage composter. Now, because of the way excellent it is, I could put this anywhere. Freaking chickens. Could put it anywhere, but I'm going to set it right here. So it also connects up to the connector, so I don't have to get more of those. It's just easier. I'm going to give it some power. I'm going to create a new fluid channel because I don't accidentally want protein to end up in there. I don't know if it can or if it can't, but I'm just going to play it safe and create a new channel to insert the compost in the sewage composter and extract from the animal sewage. We plop on down here. You can see we've made fertilizer because that small squares of chickens poop a lot. Don't you? Yeah, you do. Yeah, that's what I thought. I really only needed a few pieces of the poo in order to make the hydrator from industrial foregoing again. It's a good thing I started with that one. Well, I went ahead and popped the hydrator down, and as far as I can tell, they seem to be growing faster around it. I don't know if it's supposed to be one in the ground or not, because the working area does cover the crops now, but I don't know. It seems faster. It seemed to ignore me when I tried to put it a upgrade add-on in there. A range add-on to make it cover the rest of the field, but it's just kind of, it didn't do anything. So I guess it's gonna stay like that for now. A little bit quicker around it. Probably should have put it over there, but it's already all hooked up and everything, so in the meantime, we're getting some of this Supremium essence. I'm pretty sure a few times I've accidentally said Supremium. Yeah, I've accidentally said Supremium a few times and I meant Supremium, but you know what I meant. This is the one I normally am talking about, the Supremium. Well, the only thing holding us back from getting that armor and flight is not having a nether star. In order to get one, I'm going to create the mob crusher from industrial foregoing. Mob crusher is going to make it so if the wither enters the area, then he'll just die. This place may look familiar. I may have gone overboard with this, but I set up some mob crushers. Yes, some. So I plan on creating the wither somewhere in this area. And hopefully when he explodes, he won't take out too many of these things. I guess I can run down here if I need to. And if he flies up, he should die. If he stays here, he should die. If he digs a tunnel and goes down, then I'm screwed. Crap, I didn't think of that. The original plan backfired pretty hard. I did not expect the explosion to be that large. I mean, he just took out like all the cabling and all but this mob crusher. It's just amazing how well that didn't work. But I guess in the end it still got him. So I'm going to do the same thing 3 more times. Hopefully not the exact same thing. But I'm going to use these mob crushers. You know, it'd probably be easier instead of hooking them all up. I could just drop the power cell behind each one, fill it full of energy, because it doesn't look like it uses it when it's sitting here. That would have saved me a lot of cables. But anyway, I'm going to do that 3 more times. Get 3 nether stars. And then we should be on the way to creating a nether seed. So I can just grow nether stars. I went ahead and got 5 more nether stars. They weren't nearly as eventful as the first one. And in order to grow the nether star essence, we actually need this nether star crux below the soil to grow it on. The nether star seed itself is actually from an add-on to this add-on. Mystical Agri Editions. And so we need to tier it up once more to Insanium. And it's basically the same thing if I can catch this little infusion crystal here. Just like that. I already set it to inside, apply it. There we go, I got some Insanium. You tier up to Insanium the same way, going from tier 5 crafting seed to tier 6. I'm always so confused when I walk over to this farm because it looks like half of these are grown, but if I check it, so this one says 0%. 0, 0, 0. 7, oh, I guess that one. All these are like 0, it's weird. Just like the coal seed. This is made the same way. Oh, it's even that direction, nice. We have nether star seeds. And like the JEI, NEI thing said, you have to put the nether star crux down first, and then your soil, and then the nether star seeds. And it's already getting splashed on. And there it is, a full nether star. You just take 9 of these nether star essence, and throw them in a crafting table, and you get a nether star shard. But unfortunately, you need 3 of those. So it takes a little while when you've only got a few crops. And you just plop those in here, and you get a nether star. It really didn't take too long. It seems to grow at about the same speed as a coal seed. And I added a few extra sprinklers. So it didn't take too long at all. Well, this part has actually taken quite a while, but we have our first Supremium armor piece. Yes, boots. The easiest one to build. But it's a start. The next one, you guessed it. It's the helmet, the second easiest one. That's right, only one more after this. I've got magical pants. And finally, the chest piece. Well, it probably seemed rather quick because I edited it all to look rather quick. But believe me, that last step took a little while. I've got a bit more crops than I had. I've got like 5 of them and a thing that gathers them. That's what I did. I got really lazy. Instead of just running the power cable right under there, I just built a simple power cell and jammed it in the wall. But we have step assist. That's very annoying actually. There we go. Alright, we have step assist and we can fly. Thank goodness. Now I can look at all these chickens. Well, I don't know what else to do right now because I've got some random ores coming in from the miner. But we've got random ores, we've got specific ores if I want to make seeds for them. I've got just unlimited eggs. I mean, just so many eggs. This thing's probably full. Maybe that's why there's chickens everywhere. As you can tell, I have way too many eggs. I should have put a storage drawer here, and then had like the void upgrade, so that way it would just store a bunch of them For real? Fly around for 1 second. I will kill you with chickens. And I can fly, so I don't know what else I'm going to build. But I guess that's pretty much the end of this one. We got flight and whatever else. Why isn't that one growing? It doesn't matter. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.